how's it going, everyone? Today we have a look at a watch that I kind of think might be, in my mind, what the Tudor Ranger should have been. Um, we'll get to that later, but this is the Traska Summiteer. This is a field and everyday watch by the microbrand Traska. Traska is a kind of a one-man show that specializes in making sort of go anywhere, do anything tool watches that are versatile enough to be dressed up, but durable enough to take a beating. Retails for about $500, or did retail for $500 when it was released. They're all sold out now and seem to be holding their value on the used market. They have a Yoda 9039 movement, pretty par for the course for a no-date micro-brand watch these days. This particular one's keeping pretty good time. They came in 3 dial colors in the original generation: a green, this beautiful kind of ocean blue, deep ocean blue, and a black dial or charcoal dial. So this blue dial version is indicative of a lot of the features of the brand. They're known for their coating, their steel coating on their bracelets. Gives it a scratch resistance. It's fairly similar to like a Dia Shield in concept. It's a 38mm watch in diameter, so kind of right in that modern sports watch size range. It has a 20mm bracelet that tapers down to 16mm clasp. The clasp is a beautiful clasp with this knot pattern, and it has perlage on the inside, so very nice clasp with a good 4 micro adjusts. It is 10mm thick, very thin, definitely taking advantage of that 90-15 movement to its best potential, but holds case, and it is 46mm from lug to lug, so pretty classic dimensions for a modern sports watch, a la Zinn 556, Damasco, Alpinist, all those kind of classic designs. So I called this my version of what the Tudor Ranger should be because, as many of you know, the Tudor Ranger was just discontinued, but it was a 41mm watch, and it was based on a design that was originally 34mm. Well, the Ranger was a very contentious watch, but it's a version of the Tudor Prince, which was itself a version of the Rolex OP/Datejust, depending on the variants. But either way, it was originally a mid-sized watch, and it jumped all up to 41, which for a lot of people was a little bit on the big side for a bezel-less watch. But it does have a lot of those classic looks. It has the triangle 369 common to the Explorer and also to the Ranger. And it has a sword hour hand and minute hand. Let me get those out of the way. And interestingly, it has a kind of a unique take on the look of the crown tube, extended out crown. That's actually all just part of the crown. If you look at it when you pop it out, you set it to 1010. You can see that the crown itself just has a little taper to it. So, nice way to achieve that look without having the bulbous crown tube. And honestly, I think they do it a little better than Tudor does, based on the couple of Tudors I've had. But you get a nice spade type or diamond type second hand. So really, to me, this is, in my mind, what I would have hoped the Tudor Ranger was. The only thing that lets this watch down really is the lume. The lume is BGW9. It's reasonably well applied, but BGW9 and I have never really gotten along. Unfortunately, the formulation seems to really struggle when going from a fairly dim situation into a dark situation, which is, I feel like, how a lot of us actually use watches like this, field type watches. So if I'm working in my garage or in the office, or deployed in a command post, and I have to go outside, all of a sudden my lume is nothing, because it's fantastic at holding a charge if it's charged. So if you go out into the sunlight or if you charge it up with a flashlight, but it definitely seems to struggle once you're going from a dimly lit room to darkness, and those kind of transition periods in the evening. And so that was my biggest reason why I'm not keeping this watch. Otherwise, this watch is phenomenally comfortable. It wears very well on the wrist. I didn't wear it on the bracelet. I wore it on a rubber strap. But let's get it on wrist so you can see. You can see that there is AR, but it's not terribly well applied, so that's a downside. But you can see it's just unbelievably thin on the wrist. Very comfortable. Honestly, about as comfortable as any 38mm I've ever worn. More than most, actually. Working on a review of the Alpinist right now, the Baby Alpinist, and to me that watch was completely inferior in every way, and it was more expensive. So yeah, this watch is a pretty solid option for people who aren't super picky about lume. I'm definitely pickier than most when it comes to the lume department. If you're not super picky about lume, and you can find one on the used market or when they release a second version, yeah, it's a phenomenal watch. Super thin, super rugged. The scratch resistance coating works great. Average Bro watches did a test of it. Works fine. Can't speak to its longevity, but at the minimum you get a very very fantastic. To me, this is probably the best micro brand field watch that has ever come out. That's not an homage to something in particular. It's definitely like an amalgamation of a few concepts. So kudos to Traska, and here's hoping maybe they release a version with C3X1 or a thicker application of BGW9 for the next version, and maybe I'd be interested. But I'd happily wear this watch for most situations. It's phenomenal and very attractive. I forgot to notice or mention that there is a signed crown with the Gordian knot. Same thing, it's on the dial. So yeah, very attractive watch. A real winner for Traska, and definitely, like I said, probably one of the best watches I've seen in a long time. That's kind of its own thing. And yeah, can't ask for any more. That's all I got for this one, though. I'll catch you on the next video, and until then, take it easy.